Shout out that Chi-Town, Shout out the south side of Chicago. Stay long, yes, sir.
Let me see you do it. Let me see you move. Let me see you bounce. Head, shoulders, knees.
She had a history of being trafficked.
That's right.
And they put her in a home with a pimp.
That's right.
A 16-year-old foster child who is a sex trafficking in the home of a man convicted of multiple dad, now charged with running a prostitution business out of his home.
DCFS approved sending a teenage sex trafficking victim to live in this Chicago apartment building with a man court records describe as a habitual criminal.
Need to be held accountable for this screw up.
DCFS made this man, Eric Johnson, a 24-year-old bachelor, the teen's foster dad. The CBS 2 investigators found he spent much of his adult life incarcerated, yet DCFS approved him to care for the 16-year-old girl.
This is unacceptable.
We found court records showing he has 2 robbery convictions, a 3rd conviction for a federal gun charge, along with a domestic battery arrest for beating another teenage female. Somebody looked at this guy's background and still gave him the child.
That was a huge mistake. We can't keep losing children like this.
In court, DCFS described how it gave Johnson custody of the girl in what is called a fictive kin placement. The fictive kin program allows friends of the child's family to apply to be foster parents. DCFS approved Johnson as a fictive kin foster parent in 2022, while still under a federal supervised release program for one of his convictions. 16-year-old to this man, despite his record and despite his age.
This was a bad place.
DCFS has a pattern of failing to find them critical care facilities. In the case of the 16-year-old, DCFS's own hired psychologist said the teen needed a secure residential treatment facility sex trafficking program. Instead, they placed her with Johnson.
The victim here is the girl who's been put in this position with this guy, which is horrible.
Shortly after becoming the teen's foster dad, Johnson was arrested again. He's now accused of running an online prostitution business. Sex acts performed right in the living room of the same apartment. DCFS was also accused of mishandling a different child's case altogether after she was trafficked at a Chicago hotel. That girl was only 10 years old, and her case involved different men.
We can't keep giving children to traffickers.
I will say this. We investigate seriously and thoughtfully.
Children who are being trafficked, like the little girl in the hotel. DCFS was warned about her 13 times, yet failed to put the child into protective custody. So at that point, one of Smith's staff tried to stop the interview.
Dave Savini, sex trafficking victim.
So what does DCFS do? We've learned they placed her with a 3-time convicted felon who's now accused of forcing her into prostitution.
The 16-year-old girl was sent to this apartment building by DCFS. The state agency in charge of protecting her placed her in a foster parent's home here at the corner of 80th and Hermitage. But during our years-long investigation into DCFS, the CBS 2 investigators made an astounding discovery. The licensed foster parent who the state entrusted to care for that 16-year-old girl was a 24-year-old man with a lengthy felony criminal record. His name is Eric Johnson, and he's also an accused sex trafficker.
They license him as a foster parent. They license this 24-year-old pimp as a foster parent.
DCFS bouncing children from home to home and not getting kids like this girl the proper specialized care. So you're saying, on top of everything else, she had a history of being trafficked.
That's right.
And they put her in a home with a pimp.
That's right. They bounced her around from hospital to shelter to foster home.
The court order we obtained says while she has waited to get the proper care and placement she needs, the teen has been trafficked, sexually assaulted, shot, lived on the streets. Ultimately, the agency made a pimp the child's foster parent.
Over this 1 year, this girl has been raped, she's been trafficked, she's been abused, she's been beaten up, and she's been shot. She actually has a bullet in her leg.
We found Johnson has a lengthy criminal record. The teen was placed with him just months after he was released from federal prison after a 24-month sentence on a firearms charge. Before that, he spent 3 years in state prison for 2 robbery convictions. Despite all that, Johnson passed placement clearance and was approved by DCFS to become a foster parent.
This criminal.
Johnson's latest charges, detailed in this court record, say the juvenile victim was being advertised and prostituted on a known sex website. What does this say about the background checking system at DCFS?
Chicago. Foster parents drop foster kids off in Atlanta, far away, for their 18th birthday.
I'm being called retarded for my entire freaking life.
Who called you that?
My parent, if you prefer another shot of me, just flat out say it. Just say I know you don't like it, but you to just take me in for drop me off at a homeless shelter, that's not that's not cool. Dropping a child off as you don't want to look at them anymore.
Well, how long have you been homeless?
Since August 29th.
August 29th? What happened on August 29th to cause you to become homeless?
That was my 18th birthday, so... But I could be a lion, a snake come by and when I'm angry.
Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. So, where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
From Chicago?
Yeah.
Chicago. Okay.
Uh,
You from Southside?
Yeah.
And shout out that Chi-Town, shout out the South Side of Chicago. Day long, yes sir. Why did you end up having this on your 18th birthday? What?
It was my 18th birthday, and according to on your 18th birthday, you're considered an adult and you gotta get out.
A lot of 18-year-olds live with their parents. Your parents know that you're homeless?
Yeah.
They do?
They were the ones who dropped me to the homeless shelter.
In Chicago?
In Atlanta.
Okay, so do your parents live here in Atlanta? Where do they live?
Chicago.
Wait a minute. These are your biological parents? Okay, these are your adopted parents?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Do you remember what age you was adopted at?
4. Yeah.
Why would your adopted parents drop you off at miles, thousands of miles?
Hey, it's a good place to get a job, bro. Literally about it. They were like, where would you want to go in life? I guess because I thought they were joking. I was like, London, Atlanta, Great Britain. Next thing you know, a suitcase and we're packing in a rush, come to Atlanta. So, like,
how did that make you feel?
I was nervous and scared. Really sad. 18th birthday, we couldn't even celebrate. Like, okay, I'm back. Couldn't even celebrate by going out to dinner. Like, next thing you know, it's my bag to go early in the 5 a.m. with just clothes and my brother, and that's it. I always contact. They never really contact me back.
That seems abnormally cruel.
That's not cruel. I mean,
for them to drop you off on your 18th birthday to go be homeless, that's not right at all. I have daughters that are close enough to your age that it's kind of ticks me off a little bit. All right, so we got your Cash App right here. All right, sweetie. What's your adopted parents' name?
Ann and Lyndon.
Ann and Lyndon?
Yeah.
What's their last name? Bradger? Ann? And Lyndon Bradger?
Yeah. I call her nameless Angelica.
Adopted parents did? Dropping you off down here? And
I wouldn't consider that cruel.
Tell me why not.
He like 52. They say he's 52. And
has he done anything else?
No. Not really.
Has he taken advantage of you sexually?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot? What's happened? Well, kind of an update, right? It's kind of a special update. So how you doing today, young lady? So what has been going on out here?
Well, you know, I come morning to check on her and stuff. Like, you know, she got bullies and like talking about her condition and stuff, and she had me like she just giving her money away and stuff like that. That she is a little girl and like. Why do
you giving your money away?
Well, if it's 5 people against one small, what would you do? Back down, or would you actually fight them off?
And so this is talking about that you're giving away?
Yeah.
Okay, money or nothing like that, right? Okay.
Gave her, and then the money that I had gave her and giving her money, so like, you know, in the morning time, I know she be hungry, and at night I haven't seen stuff like that, so I can't make sure that she get her money where she can go and get her. Every time I come back, she don't never tell me what people tell me, because I have people watching her, and they be telling me that she be giving away her money. I don't like that. Then they got this like he perverted, and now she want to talk about his unicorn, talk about other stuff. He talking about feeling on her. I don't like that. I don't know. I haven't been around there.
Has the guy that she's talking about been feeling on you and stuff like that?
Like touching my butt, stuff like that. 40, 50-year-old.
He like
He's 50. Has he done anything else?
No, not really.
Has anybody taken advantage of you?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot?
No, when I actually was expecting to a hotel and watch TV, instead they had other things in mind. I actually got choked for telling them no.
I was here in Atlanta?
Yep. And I'm like, X rainbows and unicorns. I get a grown ass trying to touch me. I actually fell for it.
Tell them your condition before you just lay with them in.
No, Not really.
Do they do it unprotected? Wait, what condition are we talking about?
Like HIV, okay?
All right.
Hold the paycheck for every single job.
Yeah. How many kids?
You're encouraging me to have babies, you know that? So, bless you here.
Y'all too? Okay, so they basically is that they dropped you off as soon as coming to 18.
What?
Because when you turn 18, stop.
What?
And so what we're trying to tell you is that once the check stopped, all right, well, we're just going to drop her off and drop her away. She can't come back. She can't get back here easily. Yeah, that's what was incredibly cruel what they did. Yeah, it was very...
From bitches. It's like they're pieces of meat. Because
you ain't gonna do all that. All you cussing out now, not at. I'm serious. Don't be saying that you not. You understand? Like you not fish, cause that ain't what you are. That ain't what you are. You're a human being just like everybody else, but you're a queen. So yeah. So don't say that.
Right.
I'm serious.
Right. Like it's being an.
It don't matter.
So hold on. Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna show you these comments. And we'll come back.
In Big Lip stuttering I come
September of 1988 was the first time I actually used the bathroom in someone's house. Other than that, I went outside.
See, that's
Other than that, I went outside.
Sixth grade, and I want to be on TV.
She's supposed to lift you.
This dream killing health want to be when you grow up.
Okay.
The first day I'm finna get a gold star. I got the best answer. I knew all my answers was better because a lot on his paper, he won't be a doctor. His ass couldn't even read. Bigger chance of being a doctor. I got to walking my ass to the moon by Friday. So I said, why did you write this on your? This heifer trying to break me. Good job.
Right.
She was. Who in this neighborhood ever been on TV? Who in your family ever been on TV? And what make you think you can be? And look at you standing there. You can't even talk. Now you write something more reasonable on your. Crushed me, man. She said, Slick, this boy been a smart aleck up at the school. Said, well, your boy can be whatever he want to be. And he said, you don't worry keep that paper and you read your paper every morning. 27. I didn't get on TV till I was 38 years old. Wow.
Were you a good student in school?
So I took impediment, speech therapy. And that's when I knew I was speech therapist. For people who study, they've never trashed, man.
Right.
And everybody be down. That's when I learned my first lesson, how to study the room. I was talking about this dude so bad. He got tired. He said, hey, little man, keep on, I'm gonna hurt you. But it was some girls.
You can't let it go.
I got to go home. Yeah. So now I'm defense. Now I don't see, he done looped around. I'm watching the game, I'm looking for him. All these jokes.
All the exposure that you gave me to get me home. I really, that coverage was much needed.
Griner is a WNBA player. She was arrested in Russia when I seized oil in her personal belongings at the airport. I was one of the first to report she was being held as a casualty of war. Sentenced to 9 years. She was released when Russia swapped her for one of Russia's prisoners in America. Here, she thanks her wife.
A round of applause for my wife. Honestly, she had the hardest job, honestly. Thank you so much for being there for me.
Brittany says she's never playing overseas again, unless it's in the Olympics to represent the USA.
Never going overseas to play again unless I'm representing my country at the Olympics. You know, if I make that team, that would be the only time I would leave the U.S. soil, and that's just to represent the USA.
Teenager challenges her mom to a dance challenge.
Let me see you do it. Shake. Let me see you move. Let me see you bounce. Head, shoulders, knees, twerk. Head, shoulders, knees, twerk. Go to work. Get it in. Keep it going down to the ground. Let's take a breath. Pull through. Take it down to the ground. Put the work in. Put the work in. Hurt yourself.
If you want to see more, I'll be putting the links in the description below. Just tap the more, then the YouTube button. Subscribe.